Hey, somebody's got to find my glasses. No, the other ones. Excellent. Thank you, buddy. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer.
I don't think this boy's got all his marbles.
Here, you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth, creating measurable results for people like you and families like yours. I am the Professional Noticer.
There's no I in team, but there is an I in pie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews, and thank you for making me a part of your week. I know our topics seem to vary wildly at times, but it's because the things you care about most sometimes are greatly affected by the things you care about least. And so we will field questions about business and spiritual issues, popular culture, almost anything. Occasionally we will tackle the odd conundrum, like why you have that tiny pocket in your jeans that nothing will fit into but a dime, and then you can't get it out. My purpose here today, with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life you would live if all your toughest questions were answered. Professional Noticer sponsored this week by Kamado Joe. Not just a line of products. This Kamado Joe, this is what happens when a couple of guys who love to grill get serious about creating the world's best ceramic cooker. And it's the best. I'm telling you, their goal was simple, and that was that each product bearing the Kamado Joe name would become a trusted part of exceptional grilling experiences for you. Check them out at KamadoJoe.com. Okay, hey, the Professional Noticer now has listeners in 80 countries. Amazing. I don't know if it's like 2 listeners in each country, but sure appreciate you guys being out there. Cyprus joined us this week. Hey, Cyprus. Observations and answers are what we do here. I deliver the observations and you provide the questions. These questions are a critical component of the person you and I aspire to become. Always remember, the quality of your answers can only be determined by the quality of your questions. This week, our first question is from Gracie. It's a short one. She's from Texas. Let's listen.
Hi, Andy. This is Gracie from Texas. My question is, do you have any particular writing quirks? And also, what is your work-life schedule like when you are writing a book?
Okay. Gracie, that's a good question. Do I have any particular writing quirks? I don't know. I probably, I don't know. Is it a quirk? Do I have quirks? Probably. I probably do. I'm thinking about back when Austin was like 8, maybe, or 7, and Adam was younger, and a babysitter was over here one night, and she told us when we got home, the boys were in bed, and she was laughing as we walked in the door. And she said, I brought some stuff over here tonight so that I would have something to do with the boys. And so I brought this stuff, and it was paper and colored pencils, and we're going to make a book. And Austin said, well, I already know how to write a book. And the babysitter said, you do? Now, how do you do that? And Austin said, well, what you do is you tell everybody they have to be really quiet, and then you tell them not to stomp on the floors, and then you go downstairs in your office for a while, and then you come up and get coffee, and you tell everybody to please be quiet and not to stomp on the floors, and then you go down in your office a little while, then you come back up and get a Mountain Dew, and you tell everybody to be quiet because they've been playing ball or stomping on the floors, and then you go back down in your office, and that's how you write a book. I thought, well, I guess from his perspective, that probably is how you write a book. But my quirks writing the book have probably come about in in the way I know I have to make myself write. For a long time, I would say I don't really like to write. I like having written. I like being through with it. And that was true for a time. It was a struggle for me. And I guess at times it might still be, but I enjoy it now. And part of why I enjoy it is probably because I surround myself. Now, this is a quirk, I guess. I surround myself with things that inspire me and things that make me happy and things that make me comfortable and things that make me excited to write. I just surround myself with, I've got pictures of historical figures around. I don't know how many, I need to find out or pay some kid to count or something, but I have, I don't know, thousands. I have thousands of portraits of Abraham Lincoln above my desk. Don't I, Matt?
You sure do.
I mean, right now, I have thousands. I'm looking up at thousands of portraits of Abraham Lincoln because above my desk, we hot glued pennies. Thousands of pennies with the Abraham Lincoln side showing and all facing the same way above my desk. I was telling somebody just last night that they're kind of redoing a house, that they bought this fixer-upper and they're redoing a house. And I said, well, don't think you have to go into, some furnishings place and that's your only choice. I said, you can do flooring, you can do walls, you can do ceilings, you do them however you want them. You just have to have imagination. And I said, and you can do this stuff for pennies. But you really can. You can put anything on the wall you want. And so I surround myself with stuff that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like writing. And I don't know if it's a quirk or not, but I get up really early when I'm working on a book. There's something about, and I mean really early. I'll get up at 3 o'clock sometimes, and most times, if I'm writing a book, I'm up by 3:30, but always by 4. And there is something about, tiptoeing out of the bedroom and everything is so quiet, and then going into the kitchen and getting coffee or a glass of water or whatever it is I'm going to get, and coming down and sitting down and, starting to work. I always, the first thing I do is I come in here and I read from my Living Bible. I have a Living Bible, which is like that translation we had when we were teenagers. And I still read that because that's like the only Bible translation I can understand, I suppose. And it's like a story. And so after I read, I'm quiet for a while. And I don't check my email. I don't know if that's a quirk, but I don't check my email. I don't check text. I don't get on the internet to see what's going on in the world. After I'm quiet, I just come over to my desk. I'm quiet over in what the boys, when they were little, they used to call it my papa chair. It's just a recliner over in the corner of my office. But after I'm quiet there for a little bit, I will come over and start to write. And, that's what I do. You ask about my schedule, my work life when I'm writing a book. I can be really into it now for a couple or 3 hours, even when school's going, before everybody gets up. But I'll hear them upstairs. I hear them above me when when everybody gets up. And so I'll go up and spend 30 or 45 minutes there while everybody's in. We're having breakfast and, yakking about the day and just kind of getting going. And so I'll go sometimes go outside and be with Adam as he's going to school, and be with Austin as he goes into his workshop or gets ready to go visit a client or whatever he's doing. And Polly and I talk a little bit. Then I'll come down and start working again. And I work till about lunchtime writing. And then I'm kind of played out at that point. But that's the time, you stop and that's the time we get the other work done. Just the other work, because obviously that kind of goes on. Even though you're writing a book, you still gotta keep up with the emails and keep up with the website stuff and the speaking schedule and all like that. And even when I'm really buried in writing, the thing I look forward to every day is dinner with my family. I literally, I'll think about that several times during the day. Hey, in a little while, Polly and Austin and Adam and I will be sitting around the table and wonder what we're having tonight. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I just get to be with them. And so there you go. That's my work set. I don't know how quirky that is, but it seems to work for me. I want to see what you write. So that's a question I have for you that I would like you to ask yourself. What particular writing quirks would you like to develop so that you can write, Gracie? Because if you're asking me about writing, I bet you're thinking about writing. And I think everybody has a story that is relevant. I think everybody has a book in them. And so, when are you going to start writing? Thank you, Gracie. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. Remember, this week's sponsor is Kamado Joe. These are my grills. I've had other grills in my lifetime. For a long time, I had the kind of grill my daddy used when I was growing up. That kind of grill where you stack all that charcoal. And I swear, Matt, the lighter fluid was different when I was growing up. I'm telling you, now, if you put lighter fluid on something now, you can stick your hand down there with the match and the flame starts very slowly. I mean, man, when I was a kid and my dad squirted that stuff on those things, we would all watch, stand back and throw the match, and it was like, whoom, and everybody would know, hey, the Andrews are cooking out tonight because of the mushroom cloud over our house. But I had that kind of grill for a while, and then I got a gas grill. But then when I got a Kamado Joe, oh my gosh, the world's best ceramic cooker. So check out KamadoJoe.com or look for a dealer near you. Our next question is from Mark. He's from Rhode Island. Let's listen.
Hey, Andy. This is Mark from Rhode Island. I've been with my company for 6 years, and next week I have my first interview with executives for a major advancement in my career. Do you have any recommendations for interview tips with upper management? My last interview was when I got this job and didn't go past my immediate supervisor. Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you.
Mark, hey. Well, first of all, you're going to do great. You're going to be fine because your last interview worked, right? I mean, the last one you did, they said you got the job. And so, go with the knowledge of that first. You said your last interview was when you got the job, and nothing even had to go past your immediate supervisor. So that means your immediate supervisor went and told everybody, hey, you don't even have to talk to this guy. He's awesome. And, I want him. So think back. How did that go? And I'm not saying what questions did he ask. I'm saying, how did it go? Were you already friends? Did you become friends in that meeting? Did you connect in some way? Because I'm going to tell you, you say you've been with the company for 6 years, and you have your first interview with the executives for major advancement next week. Okay, so here's what you got to know that most people don't know going into this situation. They already know that you can do what they're talking to you about, right? I mean, you wouldn't even be having an interview if they didn't already know. I mean, you've been with the company for 6 years. They've talked to your supervisor. They've talked to people. Can he do this? Yeah, he can do this. Okay, so we'll interview him. You know what they're interviewing you for? They might not even know this, but I'm telling you, what they're interviewing for is to see, do they like you? Now, most people don't know this. Even the people doing the interview would not really admit this, because it sounds kind of crazy. But in reality, they already know you can do this. They already know you can do the job. They're talking to you to see, can they work with you? Will you work with them? Is this going to be a guy that we like being around? Or is this going to be somebody that we go, oh, God, we got to go talk to Mark? Who is this guy? And so I'm just telling you, who these executives are. And so find out what you can find out about them. What do they like? What are their passions? What is, if a guy has 2 boys and you have 2 boys, then when you go in, you need to say, and if his 2 boys are younger, than yours, then you go in and say, man, I'm a little bit ahead of you in the boy department, but I envy you because you've got more years left. It's just awesome. It's a lot of fun with these kids, isn't it? And if his boys are older than yours, you say, man, you're a little ahead of me. I can use some help here. Any experiences you've had that you see coming my way, say the word and do all this, do a smile, happy on your face. And, somebody else might be just so interested in the Chicago Cubs. Well, just be ready to talk about that. There have been times that I know I'm being interviewed for a client, whether we're going to do business together in some way. Well, I know how to make sure that the interview is over before we ever start talking business. Because I want to find out, what is this person like? What is their passion? What are they, who's your team? Who's your team? College football, who's your team? And, if they say, oh, I'm a Buckeye. Oh, my God. Oh, really? Oh, my God. I'm afraid we're going to meet you in the national championship. You guys are going to be so good this year. I'm scared of the Buckeyes. If he says, I'm an Alabama fan, then you go, oh, that is great. All right, because I think it's you and me, and everybody else is just, they're all for whatever look. You want to connect with them. You figure out a way to be friends. They don't have a college football team. You want to have something to say there. Oh, you don't have, or you're not, people say, well, I'm not really interested in, I don't really follow college. Okay. All right. That's fine. But I'm going to claim you for us. Okay. I'm going to claim you as an Alabama fan. If you're unaffiliated, you're now an Alabama fan. And I'm going to tell everybody that you are. And when somebody asks, you say Roll Tide. That's the only thing you have to say. You're just saying stuff. You're just being friends with people. And if you can make those guys comfortable quickly, Mark, you got the job. You got the job. So just remember, just go in there. They're probably going to ask you mild questions. If I could script your interview for you, and I could say, okay, this is what happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, I would script that you go in there, and for 5 minutes, everybody's just talking. Everybody's just talking about what happened at the ballpark a couple of weeks ago, or everybody's talking about, the fishing trip that he's fixing to go with his kids, or everybody's talking about, you're just talking for 5 minutes and you laugh several times. And then somebody says, well, hey, we need to ask you these questions. And then they ask you a few questions and you talk and you refer back to a couple of things you talked about in the first 5 minutes, and, they laugh and you talk for a little bit longer, and then they say, man, we'll get back with you. And you say, look, I just want you to know that I'm excited about this. I'm excited about it because I always look at, what am I going to do with my time? Where is my passion going to be? And I'm excited about doing this job, first of all, because I like you guys. And I just, who wants to be in a place where you don't like the people? And so I like you guys, and I know I can do this, and I'm going to I'm going to create some amazing stuff. We're going to have some great results with this. I mean, just tell them. Okay, just tell them. And just be fun. Be the good guy you are, Mark, and you got the job. Okay? Awesome. Hey, thank you guys. I love these questions. I hate to stop. I wish we could just do more, but I think that'll do it for this week. So get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Till next week, smile while you talk. Shake hands with the kids you meet, and make sure you have an answer to the question, where did the name for Worcestershire sauce come from, and how did the inventor actually pronounce it? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme, written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Drilling equipment provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by Tailgaters United. Where do you turn to vent after an angry drive home from work? Your wife? No, she doesn't care that you got stuck behind a moron doing 40 miles an hour in the passing lane. Your neighbor? No. Remember, he laughed when you rear-ended your 7th car and your insurance was canceled. So who do you call? Call us, the fine people at Tailgaters United. Dial 1-800-BAD-MOOD. Our operators will happily take your call and your rage. In fact, scream all you want. At $3.95 a minute, we've got all the time in the world. So don't honk your horn and follow an old lady until you can cuss her out in the Baskin-Robbins parking lot. You know how it ended the last time you did that. So from now on, when an idiot is blocking traffic and doesn't understand you just have to get to the airport, call 1-800-BAD-MOOD. Tailgaters United, go ahead, flip us the bird right into the phone. We can take it.